Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Нашите предавания предлагат много езици. Моля вижте suprememastertv.com/schedule.
We are the so-called civilized, intelligent, superior species, the human race. Shouldn't we reconsider how to act with befitting manner? That is to protect, love, and preserve the life of our co-inhabitants, the animals, persons, the environment. These certainly are recommendable, noble, and proper actions. Just be veg, go green, do good.
Please continue watching for the wonders that team spirit and determination can achieve. Be Kind to Animals Week, The True Spirit of Humanity, Part 2 of 2.
Vegan, the best way to halt climate change.
Dumelang is a greeting used in Botswana to welcome a group of people. Kind-hearted viewers, I am Dumelo, a vegan person from the Meerkat Kingdom and your humble host. This warm and friendly country wishes for your days to be embellished with inspirations from heaven. Welcome to the second part of our program in honor of Be Kind to Animals Week, the true spirit of humanity. The non-profit organization American Humane initiated Be Kind to Animals Week in 1915. It has been observed at the beginning of May every year since 1973, promoting more compassionate relationships with all animal people. All lives on Earth are important and meaningful. Saving a life is worth whatever it takes. We have heard many stories of individual humans helping animal people in need of assistance. Such love in action can inspire us to show kindness toward our co-inhabitants. But there are times when a successful rescue requires more than what one person can do. Today's program will share examples of collective efforts to protect precious people from the animal kingdom. In Almaty, Kazakhstan, a pitiful dog person was stranded in the middle of a canal. A concerned passerby took the risk of sliding down a steep embankment and wading into the rapids to save him. After reaching the canine guy, the man pulled him out of the water, but the bank was too high and steep to climb back up. That's when strangers at the top spontaneously joined the effort. They grasped each other by the hand to form a human chain and pulled the rescuer and the victim up to safety. Bravo! This scene is so moving. It can help bolster one's faith in humanity. From a village in western India comes a heartening story about humans working together to retrieve a leopard lady who had fallen into a well. When a farmer discovered her, she was trapped 9 meters underground and completely soaked. While waiting for a team from Wildlife SOS, forest officers and residents attached ropes to a short ladder, so the animal person had something to rest on. The conservationists arrived shortly with a large cage, which they lowered into the water hole. The feline girl seemed to understand their intentions and gratefully entered the enclosure. The rescuers carefully lifted it out and transported their charge to a refuge for examination and treatment. Kudos to everyone involved in saving this magnificent being. On a cold winter morning in the United States, motorists noticed that a herd of elk people was in trouble. Palisades Reservoir had frozen over near the border between Idaho and Wyoming, and the unexpected animal travelers had fallen through the ice. Some people pulled over and got out of their cars, attracting more observers. Soon, a crew of 30 to 40 volunteers was using chainsaws and other tools to clear a liquid pathway to the shore. But the elk people were unable to move on their own. Rescuers had to use straps and ropes to pull all 13 of them out of the water, one at a time. A government biologist praised the selfless community members, stating that without their help, some elk people would not have survived. In the summer of 2000, a cargo ship sank off the coast of South Africa, leaking 1,300 tons of fuel into the ocean. Unfortunately, the disaster site was midway between Robben and Dassin Islands, where two of the largest populations of African penguin people breed. Approximately 20,000 individuals were oiled, and the same number were at risk as toxic pollution drifted toward their habitat. More than 12,000 volunteers from local and international organizations came together for the largest animal people assistance project ever attempted. After being cleaned and treated, the first group of bird troopers was returned to the wild within 3 weeks. Rescuers also evacuated feathered friends in harm's way and collected babies left behind by oiled parents. Ultimately, the dedicated humans saved about 95% of the regional penguin people population threatened by the spill. Those reintroduced to nature received permanent armbands to monitor their health, and for the most part, survivors fared fabulously well considering what they endured.
Vegan leader, world-class ruler.
Let's pause now for a brief intermission. I will make a quick round of the neighborhood to see if any humans or fellow animal friends need help. We'll share more inspiring stories when we return, so please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our program, Be Kind to Animals Week, The True Spirit of Humanity, Part 2 of 2 on Supreme Master Television. In November 2021, a rainstorm caused flash flooding in a rural part of British Columbia, Canada, where a team of horse people had been grazing. They shifted to a high spot in the field and became stranded overnight as the water rose to their chests. They were too scared to move the next day despite repeated coaxing. Thankfully, one man brought a motorboat and 2 other men were cowboys with wrangling experience. The 3 of them headed for the equine folk navigating through strong currents. One of the cowboys, Henry Chilihetsia, was familiar with the farm and guided the boat to the team's rear. The men influenced the 29 horse people to advance through the floodwaters toward the gates and higher ground. When Mr. Chilihetsia was interviewed later for CBC Radio, he commented, "If we didn't do anything, then my heart probably would have shattered in 2 billion pieces." That reminds me of a dramatic event in the Netherlands 15 years earlier. A tidal surge caused seawater to breach the dikes and submerge a wilderness area outside the village of Marum. A herd of 100 horse people took refuge on a sliver of elevated land in the middle of what became a lake. Some locals delivered hay for them to eat, but otherwise they were in poor condition, standing in cold and wet weather for 3 days. Rescue attempts by boat did not go well, liberating only a dozen or so individuals. Finally, the authorities put out a call for experienced riders with horses without fear of water. Norma Miedema was the first of 6 women to respond, and when they met on site the following day, she became their leader. They all rode to the knoll where the horse people were trapped and then made U-turns. As they slowly headed back to higher ground, the frightened horse people found the confidence to follow them. It was a remarkable chain reaction and a complete success. The Dutch government subsequently recognized Miss Miedema and the other heroines for their kindness and bravery. The stories we have shared are examples of the compassionate attempts some humans are willing to make for members of the animal kingdom. We send our love and gratitude to all the heroes who have saved our co-inhabitants and helped them in countless ways. But let's consider things from a different perspective. To what extent have animal people suffered because of the unthinking behavior of humans? We want to make a few recommendations that could improve the status quo. Try to live by the motto, reduce, reuse, recycle. It reflects an awareness that benefits people and the environment by saving natural and financial resources. We animal folk love to explore our surroundings, so items that are not disposed of properly can easily affect our well-being. If we are small, we can get stuck in bottles and cans. Those of us who make our home in the sea might find ourselves tangled in discarded fishing nets or pierced by hooks. Broken glass is hazardous because of its sharp edges, and it can also concentrate sunlight enough to start a fire. Plastic items are especially worrying when they decompose into tiny pieces called microplastics, which animal people often mistake for food. Happily, more humans are learning to shrink their environmental footprint. Reducing trash is an important start. Please reuse items whenever possible. If you can't repurpose something, please try to recycle it. Putting things in the garbage should be the last resort. Even then, please do it mindfully. The rings of plastic 6-pack fasteners should be cut, as well as the straps on discarded face masks. Tie old plastic bags into knots and find out what things you should never pour down the drain. The world's flora and fauna will thank you for your consideration. Of course, any discussion about human-caused animal people suffering needs to declare the vegan diet a moral imperative. It is also the easiest way to save lives and safeguard the planet. On July 7, 2009, during an interview with Irish journalist Ben Murnane about the global climate situation, Supreme Master Ching Hai suggested the best way for humans to live.
We are the so-called civilized, intelligent, superior species, the human race. Shouldn't we reconsider how to act with befitting manner? That is to protect, love, and preserve the life of our co-inhabitants, the animals, persons, the environment. These certainly are recommendable, noble, and proper actions. Just be veg, go green, do good.
The sanctity of every life is to be saved and preserved. Rumi, vegetarian.
Gentle viewers, thank you for being with us for our program today. Up next is The United Spirit of the Ukrainian People Shines Before the World. Part 7 of 12 on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May your blossoming goodness brighten the lives of others.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/AW.